Today I'm reading from the appendices of The New God Image by Edward Edinger. Dr. Edinger is explaining Dr. Carl Jung's view on the intersection of psychology and religion, and the book basically refers to 14 letters that Dr. Jung wrote during his lifetime. Today I'm reading from one of those letters. It's a letter to the Reverend David Cox, dated September 25th, 1957. Page 184. It seems to me of paramount importance that Protestantism should integrate psychological experience, as for instance Jacob Boehme did. With him, God does not only contain love, but on the other side, and in the same measure, the fire of wrath, in which Lucifer himself dwells. Christ is a revelation of his love, but he can manifest his wrath in an Old Testament way just as well, i.e., in the form of evil. Inasmuch as out of evil good may come, and out of good evil, we do not know whether creation is ultimately good or a regrettable mistake and God's suffering. It is an ineffable mystery. At any rate, we are not doing justice either to nature in general or to our own human nature when we deny the immensity of evil and suffering and turn our eyes from the cruel aspect of creation. Evil should be recognized, and one should not attribute the existence of evil to man's sinfulness. Yahweh is not offended by being feared. And then on page 186, in the Christian myth, the deity, the self, penetrates consciousness almost completely, without any visible loss of power and prestige. But in time it becomes obvious that the incarnation has caused a loss among the supreme powers. The indispensable dark side has been left behind or stripped off, and the feminine aspect is missing. Thus, a further act of incarnation becomes necessary. Through atheism, materialism, and agnosticism, the powerful yet one-sided aspect of the summum bonum is weakened. So it cannot keep out the dark side and, incidentally, the feminine factor anymore. Antichrist and devil gain the ascendancy. God asserts his power through the revelation of his darkness and destructiveness. Man is merely instrumental in carrying out the divine plan. And then continuing on page 186, obviously he does not want his own destruction, but is forced to it by his own inventions. He is entirely unfree in his actions because he does not yet understand that he is a mere instrument of a destructive superior will. From this paradox, we could learn that he serves a supreme power, and that supreme powers exist in spite of his denial. As God lives in everybody in the form of the scintilla of the self, man could see his demonic, i.e., ambivalent nature in himself, and thus he could understand how he is penetrated by God, or how God incarnates in man. Through this further incarnation, God becomes a fearful task for man, who must now find ways and means to unite the divine opposites in himself. He is summoned and can no longer leave his sorrows to somebody else, not even to Christ, because it was Christ that has left him the almost impossible task of his cross. Christ has shown how everybody will be crucified on his destiny, i.e., upon his self, as he was. He did not carry his cross and suffer crucifixion so that we could escape. The bill of the Christian era is presented to us. We are living in a world rent in two from top to bottom. We are confronted with the H-bomb, and we have to face our own shadows. Obviously, God does not want us to remain little children, looking out for a parent who will do their job for them. We are cornered by the supreme power of the incarnating will. God really wants to become man, even if he rends him asunder. This is so no matter what we say. One cannot talk the H-bomb or communism out of the world. We are in the soup that is going to be cooked for us, whether we claim to have invented it or not. Christ said to his disciples, "Ye are gods." This word becomes painfully true. If God incarnates in the empirical man, man is confronted with a divine problem. Being and remaining man, he has to find an answer. It is the question of the opposites, raised at the moment when God was declared to be good only. Where then is his dark side? Christ is the model for the human answers, and his symbol is the cross, the union of opposites. This will be the fate of man, and this he must understand if he is to survive at all. We are threatened with universal genocide if we cannot work out the way of salvation by a symbolic death. In order to accomplish this task, man is inspired by the Holy Ghost in such a way that he is apt to identify him with his own mind.